Hey, you. Yes, you. It's time to shake yourself and get out of bed. I am Ebony S. Bailey, and I am so excited you joined me today. Are you ready? Because I sure am. It's time for another episode of She Woke Up Dreaming. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of She Woke Up Dreaming. Now, this is different. This is my Mother's Day special. So I guess this is my mother.
She guessed this is her mother.
No, this is my mother. This is
Going.
Kim Holmes. Say hi.
Hi, everybody out there.
That's all you got.
Is that how we're going to do?
Yes, we're just going to talk.
And we're rolling right now, and
Yes.
you're going to see all of this?
They're seeing it all.
Well, bless you guys. Thank you for joining us.
So this is my special Mother's Day edition of She Woke Up Dreaming. Normally, you only get these on Monday mornings. But hey, it's Mother's Day weekend, and I decided to drop in a special episode of this podcast and web series. So I brought on my mom. They say we look alike.
And we do. She knows what she's going to look like when she gets older.
Yeah, they say we look alike.
And we do.
Okay, we did this already. So anyways, today we're doing the same thing. I know you got to see the episode last week. You got to hear the explanation of what She Woke Up Dreaming is. It came from a session that I had with Brittany Spivey, and we were doing a songwriting session. And I just kept hearing She Woke Up Dreaming. And it was supposed to be a song, but it's turned into calendar, it turned into a journal, it turned into this. And so I'm pulling together women that are walking, and they are walking in their calling, whether it be in a church setting or whether it be in their business, whether it be in their career, whatever. They're walking and they're blazing their trails, and they are doing it whether they are nervous and scared, but they're doing it with the faith of God on the inside of them and allowing Him to lead and guide them. So today I thought I should bring on
and
my mom.
Okay.
Tell them who you are besides my mother.
I am Kim Holmes. I am a lover of God. He is first and foremost in my life. I am a wife of the only best husband that heaven ever dropped into the earth. Yes, his name is Frank Holmes.
That's my daddy.
Yes, her daddy. I have two beautiful daughters who we are both, my husband and I, are very proud of. 5 grandchildren. Yes.
They all came from over here.
Over there. And still more to come.
From Crystal.
Right.
Okay.
We already discussed this. Yes, Lord.
She's turning this into something that's not supposed to be. Okay. So tell them about your women's ministry.
Well, my women's ministry is really diverse. It's for all humanity, and it caters to both men and women. However, I'm in a prison system. I've been there for 17 years, and it's just been what I never dreamed of. However, it's purpose. And so I jumped into it with all feet. I didn't even do it scared. With both of my feet, I didn't do it scared. I jumped into it because it was something that I knew in me that I needed to be there. And I'm still there. I'm loving it. I assist many different ministries within the prison. And then I go into the prison every Monday teaching a class. It's called Sharing Care. And what we do there is we just teach them everyday life skills, how to make better choices, how to overcome what's trying to overcome in them where they are in confinement. And so it's a vast thing. It's a lot of different tools that we use to get them to where they need to be. And now, after 3 years, this is when this program has started. After 3 years of birthing and teaching, now they're leading the classes.
That's cool.
Yes.
So she's going into the prison. She does prayer. She prays, has a prayer ministry as well. You can talk about that.
Well, that started here when in 2016, when we had 3 hours with the Father.
I said you didn't tell them.
Okay. So
she does that too. Some folks need help sometimes. Okay. So that's a little bit about you, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into some of the questions that I'm asking some of our guests about dreaming. So the concept of the She Woke Up Dreaming is we can have whatever we think about, whatever we dream about while we're asleep. We can have that in the natural.
Okay.
Like there's no barriers between the sleep the sleeping side of us where we are visionary. We have no limits, no boundaries, nothing. Everything's available to us. But then sometimes there's a disconnect when people wake up.
Right.
They are scared, they're fearful for whatever other reasons. They feel like they don't have the resources, and so their dream stops when they open their eyes. And so when what the She Woke Up Dreaming is talking about is us dreaming awake, us daydreaming. So I'm calling my guests daydreamers.
Okay.
Because we're dreaming during the day. Whatever we see here, we know that it can be manifested in the natural with the help of God.
This is true.
So that's what this premise came from.
Okay.
So my first question to you is, if you could summarize your journey up until now, you're summarizing your journey. Up until this point, what would that be and why? If you use one word to summarize your journey, what would that be?
Warrior. And why? It's because I spent most of my time in the face of God due to adversity, due to healing that was needed in my body, due to me being me and not truly being accepted by other people because I was me, whether they wanted to be me or not. And so I would summarize it as a warrior because I stayed on my knees, because I stayed in the face of God, I was able to overcome those hurdles.
So you persevered.
Yes.
You pushed past, you were delivered from people first so that you can be yourself. And you can trust that God has placed you where He's placed you, and the situations that has happened, they've happened for a reason to continue to build you.
Yes, it was a building of my intimate, personal relationship with God that made me realize that it really wasn't about me, but it was where God was taking me.
So you trusted. So the first thing I hear when I hear you say that is you trusted God.
All the way.
You have to. So
yes.
You have to trust. And I know you've heard of the trust exercises that people do where you're supposed to stand in front of somebody and then fall into their arms. And if you flinch or you hesitate, that means you don't really trust that the person's going to catch you.
Right.
And so you fell into the arms of Christ knowing that no matter what happens, He's got me.
He got me. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how I live every day.
Have to. You have to. Like, I know for me, challenges would come when I talk about my journey. Challenges came with all up here. Like, I'm a thinker. Like, I think everything. I overthink sometimes. Like, I can think myself out of stuff because before it even comes out of my mouth, I have and I'm black and white. So I like to know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I need all the steps. And I noticed that in this season, whatever God tells you to write the vision to make it plain, but when I write it, He go, okay, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way.
Exactly.
And so I'm having to trust, like you said, I'm having to do this big trust exercise every day with God because I'm like, well, Lord, I've obeyed you. You said to write the vision. I've written it down. You said, make it plain. I done put it on a dry erase board. I have done these different things. I have put things in place. And now you're telling me to let that go. And I'm supposed to just trust your plan and your way. And so that's something that I heard when you were speaking, that trust is necessary in order to truly wake up dreaming, especially if God placed that in your heart.
Yes.
Then you have to trust.
And your obedience in writing the vision was what God wanted you to do. He didn't say that this is what I was going to do after you wrote it.
Yeah.
He just said write it.
Sometimes you just want Him to do it.
And sometimes He just wants you to act on what He has said.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes I think it's just the fact that you take your first step. And then after you take the first step, he's like, okay, now she's got some momentum.
Right.
She's moving forward. Because I know something that I keep writing down and keeps coming to me is that every step is either a step toward purpose or away from it.
And this is true.
And so everybody, we have to be purposeful with all our steps. Make sure every movement, understand every step counts.
It's intentional.
Yes, being intentional. So when we're talking about walking in purpose, when did you wake up? Like, what was it? A situation that happened? Was it a book you read? Was it something you heard? Like, what woke you up to start walking in your calling and not be scared to do that?
Well, I can say what woke me up, but I still ran from it as it woke me up. It was in the early 1990s. Reverend F.C. Barnes came to the church that I was a member of, and he did a 5-day revival. Every day of that revival, he was there. The sanctuary was full, but it was only like it was 3 people in there. It was God, him, and I. And every day he spoke directly to me on all those 5 days. And it was just like crystal clear because I can remember each sermon that he preached every day. And so Saturday, after everything was over, you guys were asleep, you and Crystal and Daddy was asleep, and I got up and I went into the study. We were in Henderson at the time, and I sat on the couch and I was just doing a reflection of everything that took place that week. And I laid my head back on the wall and I heard the words, "You will preach," and I sat straight up. And that's what woke me up, because prior to that, your dad and I would be in the study talking, and 2 times he said out of his mouth, "When you preach," and I was like, "When I do what?" Because my thing was, I wanted to sing. I wanted to travel around the world. I wanted to use my gift in song, but God had other plans.
I still do that. I still do that whole people talk about preaching. I say, you talking,
but it's in you. It's on you. The fruit don't fall far from the tree, but God gave that to you to this tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that. So you woke up and you said you ran.
I still ran for a whole year and two months. I knew exactly, but I felt the weight of the call on me. And when I said yes and stepped into it, that's when everything lifted. I could actually feel it.
So you said you felt the weight. So you felt the weight after you said. When did you feel the weight?
I felt the weight after I said yes and began to run. I didn't feel the weight on me until I heard those words, "You will preach," and I did not say yes.
Okay. So you felt it after you heard it. God told you to do something. So you was Jonah.
In a sense.
You were supposed to be going one way and you decide.
Well, I still was going his way, but I just didn't say yes. I just didn't say yes.
Oh, another direction. No, so you was Jonah. Okay, so when did the belly of the whale have to spit you out? You had to get spit out. No, we don't know. It was a big fish. Didn't say whales. So when did you get spit out?
When it was at exactly 2 years, a year and 2 months, when I just said yes. And when I said that, I felt it. It was like a lifting. It was like if I was carrying 5 people on my back and all of a sudden they were taken off.
Gotcha.
That's how light I felt after I said, "Yes, God, I will preach your word."
That's heavy though. That's heavy. I understand the weight of being teaching and preaching a little different. I know teachers are held to a high standard. And so I understand why, in a sense, that you decided to be Jonah and go the other way. Yes. But he didn't let you go far. Like even the thing about, even jumped in the whole thing of Jonah, but even in that, it was God's grace that swallowed him up.
Exactly.
And allow him to stay in this situation until you submitted fully.
Yes, but he knew I wasn't going to go far. He just gave me that leverage.
Yeah.
To come on back, because he's a God of liberty.
So if we talk about, have you heard of sleep paralysis?
It's something that they do in a sleeping camp or something like that.
No, sleep paralysis, where people go to sleep and they say they wake up, and so they can see but they can't move. Like,
oh, I've been there.
Okay,
Just
so
didn't know that's what that was called.
sleep
Yeah.
paralysis. So it's like you're waking up, you can see what's going on around you, you can smell, but you just cannot move your body.
Had experience.
And so I'm equating all of this, everything to dreaming and sleeping. And so um, sleep paralysis paralyzes you,
It
right?
does.
And so in the natural, what stops people is fear. So what give us two practical tips that helped you overcome sleep paralysis, that helped you overcome fear, and then you were able to embrace what God has told you to do.
I believe the voice of God over the words of men, and that man is genderless. So it doesn't matter. It didn't matter what someone said. If I knew that that was not what God had already said, I dismissed it.
Yeah. Okay. That's one. I said two.
That's two.
No, that's one.
Okay, application. I say application because I had to apply what the word said in regards to living, in regards to my calling. And so by me studying, by me meditating, by me fasting and praying, it gave me the tools that I needed to be able to walk in dominion and authority. That meant when I had those tools and was able to use them the right way, that I crippled fear and it was no longer able to hold me back.
I like that, you crippled fear. So you took the situations that came towards you, not as a stumbling block. You used them to continue to propel you forward.
Yes, I used them as a stepping stone because when I finally realized that the fight was not about me and that God had already said in the end I won before I even began, that's all I needed.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what we need. When we have faith, we're taking our faith, and once we realize, okay, God's already said this belongs to me.
Yes.
So our faith is now matched with, what God has already released to us, is agreeing with each other.
Yes.
And now we can see the manifestation of it. So I definitely agree with that. We got to place our full trust in God.
Yes.
And then after we do that, we relinquish our own power. We have to push out distractions. Like you said, you had to get rid of what people thought. Don't care about what they think.
Didn't at all.
It doesn't matter what man says. So being able to put people in their right places in your life, then you can start walking freer. We've been studying the armor and being able to put on the armor, and how the armor itself is weighty. And the armor is fit to each soldier.
Exactly.
And so it's weighty, and because it's weighty, you don't want to take extra weights to carry, because you already have on all these pieces.
Right.
And you have to be able to stand with those pieces and be able to move, have agility and be able to respond to what is going on and coming at you. So the same with your purpose.
Yes. That's something that will never go away. It'll be with you until you stand before God, and He'll either say, "Well done," or He'll say, "Depart."
And we don't want the second part.
We don't want the second part.
No.
No.
We want the first part.
Exactly.
So walking in purpose, and we want to walk in purpose on purpose.
On purpose.
Like, do it. That's intentional.
Exactly.
We got to be intentional with everything that we do. Like, even setting up the opportunities for us to pray, for us to spend time with God. You said studying.
Yes.
Like, you can't have a relationship with somebody and not spend time.
No, you can't. Nothing's built.
So investing in the relationship with God, which is in turn investing in you.
Exactly.
Because now you know who you are, because He's telling you who you are. And now you can fight a different way, and you're learning how to use your weapon.
Yes, and not only He knows who you are, you know who He is.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know who He is, you won't even know what to do.
You got that right. So if you could give 3 things you had to wake up from, 3 things that you had to wake up from to start walking in your calling, what would that be?
1 was running. I had to stop running. And I had to obey the voice because Father knows best. He's the creator. He put us here. And before he put us here, he put purpose in us.
Yeah.
And so the reason why he put us here is because of the purpose that he put in us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we have to do. We don't do it out of obligation. We do it because we're supposed to do it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. That you're not listening.
I am listening.
I said 3.
Okay, but you didn't want me to explain it?
Keep going. I thought you were done.
This is my daughter, y'all, for life, forever. Forever mine.
Can you answer my question?
So the second word.
I thought you were on the
release.
third one.
No, that was the first one.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on, keep up with me.
Right,
keep up with me. The first one, that was release.
Okay.
The second one is release.
Okay.
I had to be willing to release what God has put on the inside of me, unapologetically. And the third one, is there a third one? People, is there a third one? Restrictions. I couldn't
How you gonna ask them? Wait a second.
Restrictions. I couldn't allow anybody to put restrictions on me. Because if I did, then I would actually still be stuck.
And that's sleep paralysis.
Yes, not doing the things that I know I needed to do. And in the end, I was the only one that was going to answer for me being stuck.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
couldn't say, "Oh, I couldn't do what you told me to do, Lord, because Ebony, I had something to do for her." You want to hear that? So I am purpose-driven, God-focused at all costs.
So you put the proper priorities in place. So what I hear is you were intentional about establishing a relationship with Christ, and so all distractions were pushed out of the way.
I needed that in my life because my life was isolated. I live an isolated life. People wouldn't think that on the outside. I'm this social butterfly, and I can function in any environment, but my life is isolated, and I'm good with that.
Well, like this whole pandemic, people are talking about how they're ready to get out and go.
I'm in my element.
And I said, I'm good. I'm okay. Like I'm an introvert.
Hey.
So like, I sing, I can speak, like stuff like that. But normally I'm an introvert. So this is like an introvert's heaven. Like this is for me. So, I enjoy being around other people. That's fine. After a while, it's exhausting. After a while, it's exhausting. But that's an introvert. And so to me, this has been the perfect time for things to be developed and me to spend time and get to know direction, to gain direction and clarity on some things. So like for me, I'm waking up dreaming. This is I'm waking up now. And I can hear clearer and I can see better, dreaming more. And so I know that in some aspects, people are nervous about this time, but I think we have to put it in its proper context,
exactly.
And be okay with, if God put all of this on pause right now, it's a reason.
It's a reason.
And so I'm appreciative now. I'm saddened by the deaths and people losing their lives and people not having what they need. But I also know that this doesn't surprise God. Exactly. Like what's happening and what's taking place doesn't surprise him. So it shouldn't surprise us.
Exactly. If we're in tune.
In tune. And so then that comes with the whole relationship.
Yes.
That you were talking about.
Yes. And isolation is needed, because if isolation is not needed, then you wouldn't know if what's around you need to get away from. When I was working outside the house, I would take me days from work. Y'all know that. And I would tell y'all, okay, if y'all need me, call me. But if you don't. And that day was for me.
Don't call her.
It was for me. And it was for me to do whatever I wanted to do. If I wanted to sit in silence, I sat in silence. If I wanted to pray, I prayed. It was just for me to get in touch with me. Because when I take those days, I'm a better me to me. And I'm better me to those that are around me. And I find that in the place of isolation, that's where God, he extracts out of you. He deposits in you. He shows you what you need to see, the good, the bad, the ugly. He give you downloads of what it is that he requires of you. And then the things that he'll show you what he wants to do in your life. So I find that a very good place for me. I used to go kicking and screaming, but now I want to just stay right there. But I know that I got to come off the mountain sometime because there's work to be done in the
She
valley.
be floating, y'all.
Oh, Lord Jesus, help me.
She be
Hallelujah.
floating. She be floating.
It's God, and everything is wrapped and tied and tangled up in God. That's my life. I make no apologies for it. I just love him because of who he is to me. If I had nobody else, and I had him, that would be enough for me. But he gave me this whole family. Yes, the family that I couldn't pick, and the family that I would not substitute for anything else. So I'm grateful, eternally grateful. Yes, Lord. Can I get amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So this is my favorite part, right? This right here is my favorite part. And I'm telling you, now this is not church service, okay?
Why do you have to go there?
I just want you to know that.
Well, it don't have to be a church service.
I'm just telling you before I get there.
Oh,
I'm telling you it's about to happen.
Because I'm a church. I'm the church. That's what God. Look, y'all, people, hear me. The place that we go to worship it's not the church. It's
Linda,
building.
Kim. I gotta call her Kim sometimes so she listens. So
we're the church people.
This is my favorite part. You just interrupted me. This is my favorite part. So I have what I call the bathroom mirror exercise, right? And so this is okay. I explain it different for different people, but the basis of it is we have to encourage ourselves. Sometimes we're not going to have a cheerleader. Sometimes we're not going to have anybody to push us and tell us to go forward. But we have to be able to do that for ourselves, right? So it's game day. You about to walk on the biggest platform you have ever walked on before. You got the call you've been waiting for, and now it's time for you to walk and be effective in what you've been preparing for. And so I want you to look in this camera. And I want you to talk to yourself.
That one.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it's a mirror. And I want you to talk to yourself. And I want you to encourage yourself and tell yourself who you are and what you're about to do. Because you're setting the tone for their day. So we're all flies on your wall in your bathroom. Okay.
So now you really understand why I talk to myself, right? This is all a part of talking to yourself. It really is.
Yes.
Okay. And giving answers. Go ahead.
She answers herself.
I do. And I get the right answer. I do. Only because I'm saying what God says. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, it's yours. Look in this camera.
I told you when you told me that we was going to do this, I didn't know what you was going to get because I'm just being me.
It's right there.
Okay. So I am looking into the mirror and I am telling myself what is about to take place in my day. Who I am.
Yes.
Okay.
This is game day.
I'm getting ready to leave my house.
You're getting ready to leave your house, but you're looking at the mirror before you got your blazer on,
suited up.
You got your earrings and just your perfume and all that good stuff. And tell the people.
Okay. I'm about to walk out this door into something that God has ordained for me before the foundations of the world. I know this ain't the building. What is about to happen, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made in God. Nothing can defeat me because everything I need, I already have on the inside of me. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to be on my task, and I'm going to do what has been put before me. Why? Because I am more than a conqueror through Christ, because he loves me. I am a warrior. I am an intercessor. I have my feet shod with the gospel of peace, and I am fully suited. Nothing's going to take me down, because nothing has the capability of taking me down, because God is on my side. You want me to keep going? Because I got more.
Oh my gosh. Go.
Oh, I'm supposed to keep going.
You can.
Okay.
But it's just not a church service. So that means don't do 4 and 5 benedictions. Don't do autumn those clothes.
I didn't close. I'm just being me, y'all. This is what you see is what you get.
Go on tell the people.
So I'm telling them more about what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to take this world by storm for Jesus. I'm going to touch the nations. I'm going to do what my purpose is, and that is winning souls for Christ, bringing the lost into the kingdom for such a time as this, so that all the fear that they have can be stripped away, and basically so that they can walk into the purpose that God has for them. See, we're not on this land just to lollygag. We're not dead men and women walking. Once you wake up, and you wake up and knowing what your purpose is, nothing is going to be able to stop you. Nothing is going to be able to hinder you. Nothing is going to be able to block you, because you got everything you need. You got God's supernatural power. You're walking in authority. You're walking in dominion. But to have all of this, you must have faith in God, and you must have an intimate personal relationship with him. And first and foremost, and I'm going to end with this, you have to be delivered from people, because if you're not, you'll fall for anything that they say.
And she gonna sit back and look at me.
You told me I had a limited time.
But yes, I say this. You know, she said some stuff that I be saying, so she was.
But
she
she not
listening
like
to me.
me.
I'm individual, so I'm an individual. But yes, we believe in you.
Yes.
We know that you are. You got to know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
You got to know it.
That everything that you have has been afforded to you by Christ anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's asked you to do it, that means you are capable. And so don't worry about what man says. Don't worry about what even your inner self is saying.
Yeah.
You can be trembling on the inside,
Sure,
but when God's strength comes and snatches you up, remember, his strength is made perfect in our weakness.
It is.
So don't be scared to relinquish your power to him. Understand that if you trust him, that he's taking care of it. And so today, as you walk into today, know that you're walking with purpose, you're walking with precision, you're walking with intentionality, that God has already gone before you and prepared the way. So every challenge that you face, it's not taking him by surprise. So just know that you already have the victory.
Yes.
So today, stand strong, stand tall, be accountable. Be accountable.
That's key.
Be accountable.
That is key.
We talked about this last week with Brittany. Be accountable. Be accountable. Accountability to not just yourself, but to God.
First and foremost.
Be accountable to him, and understand that everything that you face is going to push you towards purpose. It's building you, that even the pains and the pressures of life is building you, is strengthening you, is giving you I call it spiritual weightlifting.
Yeah, you got to build some muscle.
You spiritually, you're lifting weights that you probably would have looked at and said, I don't know if I could carry that.
But God, Shonda, come on here.
Shonda.
But I want to say this, though. Sometimes you may be even scared doing it. And I'm going to use myself, because it doesn't matter. Whenever I get up to stand before people, whenever I get up to pray, there are still those butterflies that I get.
Always.
And I know that's only because I am solely dependent on God. I'm like, okay, God, if you don't stand up in me, this won't get done. And so he gives me what I need, because I yield my mind, my spirit, my soul, my will, my emotion, my intellect to him. I even give him my 5 senses. He has to have it all. And so when I don't hold nothing back, then I could be used for his glory. I walk in dominion, power, and might. He gives me his counsel, his wisdom. And that's enough for me, because in all that is wrapped up in the revelation and what he has called me to do. So do it scared, but do it under the anointing of the Holy Ghost.
So today, walk tall, walk bold. Remember, the greater one is on the inside of you, and know that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You can do all things.
Boy and girl.
It's no limitation. It said all things. So know that, believe it, and receive it.
Because God is what? In the impossible, I am. Impossible, I'm. In the impossible, God is possible in all of that.
She can't help it.
Take him at his word, y'all.
She can't help it.
Take him at his word.
She's trying to hold y'all hostage. She don't even want y'all to go to work. She's trying to hold y'all hostage.
Hey, this is Mother's Day, isn't it? So they shouldn't have to work.
No, this is a Mother's Day episode.
Oh, but it's not on Mother's Day.
No.
Okay. Shalom, people.
That's what I gotta deal with. Okay, listen. So if they want to find you, I don't know why I said that.
Right.
Because she
Right.
don't. Yeah. Do you email? Like if they wanted to understand, like you're wild women
Impacting lives daily.
like if they wanted to be a part of that, get subscribed to your newsletter or anything like that, what do they do? Because social media don't even try it. So email.
Women impacting lives daily at gmail.com.
Okay. And I'll put that stuff in the bio so you'll be able to find it. She does offer other services as well. So if you're looking for counseling, mentoring, all that stuff, she
midwife, all that. It's all in there. Yeah. Help
you delivering babies. Oh, you're talking about in this. She's so safe. Okay.
Yes,
listen,
Lord.
I ain't got time for this. Okay.
Woo,
so
glory.
She don't birth babies, not in the natural. She's trying to.
No, I'm done with that.
Okay. Yeah.
She's done with that too. Appreciate your time.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in for our special Mother's Day episode. Look for our next episode on Monday with our guest. Look on my website, go there. You can see who the next guests are, my next daydreamers. Yes. This is so exciting, guys. I'm excited about this series, just to so you can see other people uncover the things that they may not have talked about, just even dialoguing with the different ladies. They're like, oh my gosh, this is giving me so much freedom. So that's good, And
remember, she woke up and you can too.
How's she going to try to end my broadcast? How does that work? How do you do that?
Well, you said we're holding the people.
Excuse me. I'll let her end it. She woke up and you can't. Remember to daydream. Stay awake and know that you can do all things. It's time to daydream. Dream awake. Have a great day.
So long.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of She Woke Up Dreaming. For more content, visit ebonysbailey.com or subscribe today on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcast, or Google Play.